Hello, everybody. It is January 30th of the glorious year 2025. This is the first podcast we are recording in Trump's America. Folks, it's been a rough one. Kiwi, Ryu, how are you feeling today?
We're starting off early, huh? Oh, God.
We got to get politics out of this one because it's my week for the three stories, and I have chosen a decidedly non-political theming.
Well, that's good.
If we were not recording right now, I would be incredibly high.
That makes sense.
What I can say about how I'm doing.
As like a coping mechanism, or just because you enjoy a weed?
A little bit of both, but mostly as a coping mechanism. The past week as a reminder for listeners at home, Kiwi is a government employee.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the final episode of season 4 of The Walking Dead, and I think
You're
it's a
such a goddamn nerd,
where Rick is just sitting against a pickup truck covered in blood with a completely blank expression on his face, and that is how I have felt this entire week.
That makes sense. It's been a wild one. I'll say that. It's been a pretty nutty one, all things considered. Not every day that the president says that he's just going to stop sending government money out to everybody in the same sentence that he reveals that he's reopening fucking Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, God.
It's been some wild times, folks.
If I may,
You may.
I have not had the time in order to sit down and pay attention to every little thing that the new administration has been doing, just because the fact that there's been like so much noise that's been happening constantly, and it's insane the fact that we're only like, what, 2 weeks into it?
It's been 10 days. January
10
20th
days?
is the inauguration.
The thing is, I do expect things will slow down after the first 10 days, because that's like the thing. The first 10 days of a political officer are always the busiest.
You're thinking of the first 100 days.
Yeah, of which we are 1/10 the way through. So actually, it's going to be quite a bit longer.
Yeah, so it's it's gonna be a couple of more months of this nonsense. But like I can't help but think back to like how it actually was like between like fucking 2016 up until 2020, in which it was just constant. He did this, he did what's going on? What do you mean he said this bullshit? What did he mean by that? What's happening? Why is he tweeting this? Oh my God, we let a maniac into the fucking White House. Like,
except this time it's worse. This time it's we lit him back into the White House.
I think you are both being incredibly optimistic in thinking that the first 100 days are going to be the craziest and most active, because one thing that you have to consider right now is that a lot of his executive orders are getting blocked in the courts right now.
That is
However, eventually they are going to go to the Supreme Court, which you may recognize
is a bit stacked.
1/3 of the current Supreme Court was appointed directly by Donald Trump in his first term. And another 1/3 is incredibly conservative still. So a lot of his executive orders and actions right now are being blocked in the courts. When they go to the Supreme Court, they are going to most likely take effect.
America is like some sort of cartoon country. Like a country you would make up if you were writing a story about the most hypothetically evil country you possibly could.
What's crazy is the fact that, like, literally we didn't used to be like this, I want to say, and then just, like, for some reason, we've just, ever since the inception of Americana in particular, and, like, the idolization of it during, like, the early 20th century, it's just turned into this, how can we just lean into this thing as much as possible, and it's fucking insane to the point where, like, we have our current standpoint in, like, everything, in which nothing is ever done in moderation. It's always exclusively in extremes, and it's absolute insanity, and it drives me nuts. But, like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be just, like, madness for the first 100 days and then turn into, like, calm and quiet. Like, as I said, like, I remember it explicitly of, like, between 2016 to 2020, that it was just a constant influx of information of just rampant bullshit that he was doing, like, every couple of days, and it was infuriating, and I am not looking forward to going back to that in the slightest. I think a lot about John Mulaney's bit about a horse loose in a hospital, and how that really is, like, you know, thoughts on the man aside, kind of an accurate representation of, like, how it was and how I fear it's going to be moving forward. But if we made it through one, I guess we can make it through another, and then hopefully after that he'll never be back in office ever again. Smile.
Assuming he doesn't try and run for a third term.
Assuming that he doesn't get the chance to go for a third term.
There is a congressman in Tennessee who has introduced a constitutional amendment that would allow Trump to run for a third term because his other two terms...
There's also a senator that
term
introduced an amendment to make ket legal. Who cares?
I don't know what you're referring to. But
Yeah.
The motion Frost posted in the group chat a couple days ago.
I don't know. But the idea of a constitutional amendment actually being passed in the year of our Lord 2025 is...
Unlikely.
There's a 0% chance. There's a 0% chance. But, I mean, again, we have a Supreme Court that has an insane conservative supermajority. So, literally anything could happen with or without anyone involved other than Donald Trump at the Supreme Court.
Yeg.
Crazy times.
Crazy times.
Crazy times.
The woke helicopters are crashing into the DEI airplanes.
Oh my god,
That was-
no!
We're not getting into that story. I have a feeling that story will have left the public mind by the time we publish this episode of the podcast.
But they'll remember it. They'll remember it when I say that.
I would now like to apologize for being a dismissive attitude, as multiple other plane crashes have happened since the recording of this episode. They'll remember it, so you don't have to. Welcome to Nostalgia Critic.
Welcome to the KZPG show, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
They have me locked in a cage.
God. I have a feeling that my topic for today might run a bit long. So if we want to go ahead and get started with the posts I have.
I like them long.
Alrighty. Kiwi, Ryu, esteemed guests of the podcast.
Guests?
Fellow listeners.
My name is in the title.
Folks, I was pretty mixed on what I was going to do for this week, but I thought back to Kiwi busting out 3 different Daily Wire articles, and it made me expand my view of what can be done with this format.
Uh-huh.
So for today, I have brought to the general group 3 posts on Reddit's relationship advice subreddit.
God.
One of which is fake.
Here's the thing. I think all the stories on that subreddit are fake.
Yeah. The trick here is not to figure out which of these is a real thing that really did happen. It's to figure out which one is something that a Redditor posted.
Oh God, okay. Which one of these is something a Redditor would not post?
Yes.
Which is an impossible task, but let's go for it.
Because
Yes.
what wouldn't a Redditor post?
Anything for karma.
I will also say I am going to be reading these in decreasing order of length. So we're starting off with the longest one and the one I think we are going to have the most words to say about.
Okay. Let's do it.
This one is titled, My 42F husband, 42M, has informed me he intends to go on a, air quotes, gaycation with his BIL brother-in-law, 35M, in Ibiza. How do I handle this? So there's the title, gaycation.
Off the bat,
Gaycation.
there is not an incredibly weird age gap, so I'm not sure this would be on Reddit.
I mean, there's a bit of an age gap between the husband and the brother-in-law. And
Yeah,
if
but
it's gonna be a gaycation.
If you had said like my 19F husband 42M, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is on that subreddit.
Oh no!
But given that they are the same age, I don't know. Red flag right there.
Fair enough. Okay. Starts like this.
If I may, one question, real quick. Where were they going on vacation again?
Ibiza for the party scene.
Ibiza.
Are you familiar with
There's a song
Ibiza?
by Mike Posner.
Ibiza pasta. I am not. I'm literally looking it up.
It's
Okay.
It's a small island nation that's known for having insane
An
party
island
scenes.
in the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, cool. Got it.
Okay.
Continue.
Post starts like this. Hi there. I really wish I didn't have to make this post, but here goes. So me and my husband have been happily married for 16 years, give or take. We both have stable careers, good family life, and fairly fortunate despite the cost of living racking in the UK right now. We have 2 boys, 15 and 10, and up until this Sunday, I thought we had it pretty good. We argue sometimes, of course, but never gotten too bad, and we have pretty decent sex life with some exploration that I won't get into that. Long and short is, on Sunday, just after I dropped off our boys at their friends, my husband asked me if we had the house alone, and more importantly, do I have a minute? I said yes, and he sat me down and got out a printed poster for some sort of orgy and started explaining to me the concept of a gaycation. How it's where straight men go somewhere with sun, sand, and booze and, air quotes, become gay for the duration of the trip. But it's fine, because it doesn't actually count, because what happens in the gaycation stays on the gaycation. I was just completely silent and mortified, even more so when said he was looking into booking a trip to Ibiza next year with his brother-in-law to experience it himself. Where are we at so far?
I'm wondering right now if the brother-in-law is her brother or like the
it clarifies in the
sister's-
post his sister's husband.
Okay, gotcha. That it would have been much funnier if it was her brother. I will say,
Very much. I fully agree.
off the bat, we have a mention of the socioeconomic conditions in the UK, and I don't think you would have gone that deep. I don't think you would have gone that deep into this.
You don't know that. You went pretty deep for the Daily Wire one. You researched what that guy wrote about how Obama made a fake company as in secret.
Yes, but I don't know. I think there's a difference between you writing things and me writing things. Granted, I haven't read a lot of your writing.
Wow, that's a fucking insult. That was a cloaked insult.
I did not mean that as an insult. I just don't think you would talk about the socioeconomic status of the UK in a story that you wrote. So okay. I still don't think this is real, but I think it is on Reddit.
I am going to continue with this second half of this post. I just wanted to take a pause here at the mention of what a gaycation is, because it's a little out there.
Sun, sand, and booze, and
sun,
butts?
sand, booze, and you become gay. When he finally let me speak, I just said I need him to be clear with me. Is he gay? If yes, that's okay, but we need to figure out what happens going forward. I didn't let myself get angry or upset. I was just stunned. He swore up and down how he's not gay. He's 100% attracted to women, and of course he still loves me and our boys. I said, well, do you maybe think you're bi? And he got very defensive, saying how I need to drop the accusations, and it's the beauty of the gaycation. It allows straight men to experience gayness without actually being gay, and it's like going to an aquarium. And again, he was adamant he does not find men's bodies or genitalia exciting at all. He needs to experience this, apparently. I said, well, I'm not really comfortable with even if he was bi, because this would be explicitly cheating on me. And he got angry and reiterated that he's not, because that's the beauty of the gaycation. I just had enough and left the room. I ignored him for the rest of the day, but we spoke at tea when I asked him why does he want to go so bad if he's not gay. He said how he's interested in how gay men's lives differ from straight men's, and that unfortunately, once the gaycation begins, it is simply impossible for a man to resist, and he must surrender himself, mind, body, and soul, to the gaycation, or be destroyed. I really can't put into words how surreal it was, because he was speaking so matter-of-factly. He again insists that this is a thing that straight men do all the time, and how he's actually doing it a bit late. Real quick here, I'd just like to say, Kiwi, when are you planning your gaycation?
I have explored the men on Tinder and Bumble. I don't know.
That's true.
You missed about that
maybe your little science experiment was a gaycation.
No, hold on a second. Now, what do you mean you explored the men of Tinder and Bumble?
Did you listen to last week's episode?
Yes.
Then you know.
No, I don't. Because the fact that you were just like, oh yeah, there were some dudes who were interested in me, but I didn't really pay attention to them. Now you're telling me the fact that you've explored them?
I saw many of them because there's like a 5-to-1 ratio of men to women.
Okay,
so when I had it tuned to both men and women, most of who I saw were men. So I got a little taste of what men and their profiles are like on those apps. And it's not like a few of them were interested in me. I now am stuck at like over 100 likes on Tinder because of men. Whereas I previously had 3.
Oh yeah, because you enabled bisexual mode.
I enabled cheat mode on Tinder. Bisexual mode.
Yeah, that's what you're enabling was cheat mode to raise your ELO. This guy is enabling cheat mode to cheat on his wife.
What? I don't understand what he means when he says, I'm not gay, I'm not interested in being gay, I'm not gonna cheat on you here. And then he's like, but I have to give myself mind, body, and soul to the gaycation. What the fuck does that mean?
What you don't understand about it is that's the beauty of the gaycation, is that it allows you...
Did you just say my name again?
Fuck!
Yeah. We have an entire section we gotta get rid of now. So sorry.
Just beep it out. Just bleep it out.
I'll just bleep it out.
Okay.
But no, this guy... good for him. I mean, not good for his wife.
There's a slight bit more to the post, so
yeah,
I'll just finish it up before we make any conclusions. Since then, he's mentioned no more of this, but somehow, and this is what scares me a lot too, that decision genuinely seems to be tearing him up. He didn't go to work on Monday, because he told them he just felt too ill. And he just looks distraught every time I see him. I really don't think he's wholly gay, though I can absolutely believe he's bi, but I'd rather we talked about that in a healthy way, rather than this incredibly weird denialism about him going on a sex holiday to Ibiza. Has anyone known straight guys who do this and come back and just go back to being straight? Like, surely that can't be a thing that happens. I'm so out of my depth here, I just don't know how to even initiate the conversation. For the record, I also haven't mentioned to his sister yet. I don't know how I'd even break it to her. Thanks for any help. I just don't even know what to think outside of being able to put this here and get it helped a bit. Edit. Wow, this blew up. This has been incredibly sobering, and I think I've now confirmed what I already knew to be the case. The marriage is dead one way or another. In a way, I was in denial with myself about that too. I have contacted my sister-in-law, and she initially screamed at me, calling me a liar, even insinuated that I was trying to steal her husband. She rang me back shortly after, apologized, and admitted she was in deep, deep shock. I have asked my parents to look after the boys, and we're going to meet tomorrow to discuss things deeper. I have also texted my husband and told him we will need to make alternative accommodation arrangements, but he will not be sleeping here tonight, and a bag will be waiting for him. Not sure if the mods want to lock this post or not. I think I've got my answers. Thanks to all the kind words, especially somebody who gave him especially good advice, apparently.
See, okay. I'm still 100% certain this is not real, as much as I wish it was, because it's incredibly funny. I want to know more about the sister's reaction, because, like, it's not just OP's husband. It's also
the brother-in-law.
The
brother-in-law.
And like they're doing like they're planning to do this together, and it's like, are they fucking each other? Like I need to know what the headcanon is here, because again, I don't think this is real, but I do think it is incredibly funny. For the post to be like,
in any case, if it's one of those situations where like, okay, I'm not going to speak on this anymore because it. I don't.
Go ahead.
I stand to gain points by your bemusement at this potential fiction that you want to be true.
My thing is just like, my husband might be a little gay. He kind of wants to explore his gay side. I'm getting a divorce. It's just.
Well, it's also like, it's not just that my husband might be a little gay and that's okay. It's my husband might be a little gay and he also said he doesn't want to have sex with me anymore and wants to go on a vacation to have sex with men.
Oh, wait, okay, but did he fully say that? Did he fully say that?
I mean, the implications of a gaycation are that you will be getting doinked up the boinker.
But he never said that he was interested in men. He just said he had to give himself mind, body, and soul. And we don't know. He could be completely innocent. He could just want to know what it's...
I want you to imagine...
Kiwi.
Kiwi.
Oh, Zoe, you said it again, goddammit.
I know. Kiwi. I want you to imagine for me right now what it would mean to give your body up to the gay lifestyle in a way that does not involve gay sex.
Look.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I spend... I am a straight man. I spend so much of my time around the gays, the queers, the transes, everyone, all of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, in a way, I give myself.
Do not say it, Kiwi. Don't say it, Kiwi.
Look, I have been entrenched with so many people who are in the LGBTQ plus community, okay? And yet, here I am. Okay? We don't know. Maybe he's letting someone else experiment and explore his body.
So you're taking this guy's...
Gay.
You're going to bat for this guy because you sympathize with him. You also want to go on a gaycation.
I'm not saying I do. I'm not saying I want to go on a
You're
gaycation.
not saying you don't, though.
I can't say it's something I would never do. But
Kiwi, you can't be saying that.
It's not something I actively want to do. I can't say I would never do it.
Okay,
I don't know what it's
Kiwi,
like.
I want you to fully put yourself in this guy's position. You are married to a woman, a beautiful wife. You have had 2 children. You have been married for 16 years.
Yeah.
How does going to Ibiza to live the gay lifestyle not read as cheating to your wife?
We still, again, I'm gonna go to bat for him and say we don't know that he's going to be fully engaged in sexual activity.
Because, you know,
what else do
giving
people
yourself
do in Ibiza?
entirely mind, body, and soul to a gaycation could mean anything.
It could mean anything.
You could go to an orgy and watch. And just hang out.
Holy shit! Fuck off!
You could go to an orgy for the snacks.
Kiwi.
Okay.
Kiwi, I've been letting you write checks for this guy so far. You cannot be writing a check that big.
I would go to an orgy for the buffet. Okay?
Kiwi, I'll kill you.
No, what?
What? I don't understand why this is making you so upset.
I think you're writing this guy too many checks. Is what I think.
I'd go to an orgy for the buffet. Do you know what that means?
I can go to the grocery store and look around. That doesn't mean I'm buying everything I look at.
So you would say going on a gaycation, if you were to go on a gay cruise ship to the middle of some fuck ass island, quite literally,
You're talking.
And you were just there to window shop.
You're talking to a
by
straight
yourself
guy.
with you and some other dude that you planned this with, and all you're doing is just browsing.
You're talking.
You
to a
would
straight
consider
guy.
yourself that is giving yourself mind, body, and soul wholly into it.
Look, I am a straight guy. I am also a part of an LGBTQ hiking group here. Okay.
Okay, this isn't LGBT hiking group. This is going to Ibiza. The poster had orgy on it. The poster depicted an orgy.
Okay, what did I just say about an orgy? He could be going for the food. This fictional man could be going to the orgy, the gay orgy for the food. And just to know what's going on. If someone invited me to a gay orgy, I might go just to be like, I wonder what this is like. I'm not gonna participate.
Oh my
but,
god.
like, I'm not disgusted by the fact that the people around me are gay or that they're having gay sex. I've never seen a live demonstration of gay sex, you know?
I just have this mental image in my head of, like, the scene from The Simpsons in which we're, like, Homer's sitting in the middle of, like, a lesbian bar, and he's just like, wait a minute. Something ain't right here.
Something feels
This place
off.
doesn't have a fire exit. Enjoy your death trap, ladies.
What was her deal?
Look, I don't know. I've been taken to drag shows and stuff with friends, and I've just been like, I'm glad people enjoy this. It's not for me, but like I'll go because my friends want to go and have fun. Maybe he just wants to support his brother-in-law.
Let me be clear. Let me be perfectly clear, Kiwi. Gay people do not go to Ibiza to live out the gay lifestyle. This isn't even something that gay people do for fun.
Wait,
people who go to parties and pop drugs, sure, but
are you saying gay people can't go to parties and pop drugs?
Are
you being homophobic?
I'm saying the gaycation is not a standard gay activity.
Well,
is a
my mom would like to
vacation,
beg a differ, but she's a different flavor of gay.
Hold on. If gay people go on a vacation, just a regular vacation, does that make them straight? Does that mean they want to have straight sex?
No, that means they're gay people going on a vacation. I'm saying a gaycation. The thing being described by the straight man in this post is not a thing that gay people do on the reg like drag shows.
We are going in circles.
Yeah, we're going in circles. I don't think we're going to find.
We should move on to the next post.
Well, if I have one more question related to this subject that has been sitting in the back of my mind, what's like the brother-in-law? That's what it is. What's like his standpoint on this? Does the post ever specify on whether or not if like he's gay or
does not clarify, but clarify. He is also married. I
need an AMA with everyone involved in this. Is what I need. I need clarity. Again, I think all of these people involved are fictional.
Clearly, there's only one way to resolve this. We got to get them on the show.
We gotta get him on the show.
True.
We gotta get him on the show.
Gaycation guy, friend of the show. If you'd like to come on at any time, just pass me a line.
Fucking
So, assuming this is a real Reddit post, which I still believe it is, I need you to reach out to OP and be like, "Hey,
of course.
We have an amazing opportunity for you. You stand to make like $5." American dollars.
A crisp $2 bill is all yours, my friend.
I will personally Venmo them $15 each.
$15
to come on this
each.
show.
That's money. That's potentially $30, maybe even $45.
That's that government money, baby. That's that government money. This is where your tax dollars are going, to me, so that I can give them to the gaycation guys and their wives.
I'm moving on to the next post now.
Okay.
This one is titled, Mother-in-law, 56F, deliberately infected by 27F, daughter, 1F, with chicken pox. I'm livid. She doesn't think it's a big deal. There's the title.
I genuinely feel like I have seen this post. I genuinely feel like I have seen this post on that subreddit.
We'll see. I'm gonna read it out.
Familiar. Yeah.
And if this becomes a coin flip rather than a weighted coin flip, I don't think that's too big a deal. Mm-hmm. This is also the risk I took choosing this as the topic because I know you are a Redditor.
I don't use it that often, but I think, for one, I think this is an older post. Because I remember seeing something like this a while back, but it does sound incredibly familiar.
All right.
I will now read it out. It starts like this. I can hardly type this out because thinking about it makes me so angry. Earlier this year, my husband, 31M, and I decided to spend Christmas at his family's for the first time since my daughter was born last September. Since they live 12 hours away, we decided to stay for a week before Christmas so they could spend loads of time with Annie, 13 months. We arrived early like we planned and everything was great. I've had a few disagreements with my mother-in-law, Trish, in the past over my parenting style. She criticized me for using disposable diapers, buying baby food from the supermarket, and not raising Annie as an organic baby, but everything seemed great. After a day or two settling in, my husband and I decided to pick up a few gifts from a mall around an hour away before the last-minute rush kicked in. My father-in-law, 60M, tagged along. Trish said she was happy taking care of Annie. We got back a few hours later, and Annie was down on a nap on a blanket I didn't recognize. Trish said one of her friends dropped by and gave it to her as an early Christmas gift. It looked pretty old, worn out, but I figured one of her friends was happy just recycling it. The next 2 weeks were fine, aside from Trish making a point to prepare meals for Annie from scratch. I mentioned this to my husband, and he said just to let her be. Annie mostly mushed the food Trish gave her with her hands / threw it into bowls on the floor, as she's been doing at the moment. Trish said it would take a while to get used to the nutritious meals. I was getting sick of her meddling, but it was only a few weeks later. For the sake of the holiday, I let it slide. The day after Christmas, Annie was really unsettled and wouldn't stop fidgeting and crying. I took her temperature, and she had a fever, so I kept an eye on her for the next few days, and it thankfully started to go down. This morning, she let out a rash and blisters on her arm and leg, and I freaked out. I was packing a bag to drive to see a doctor when Trish asked where I was going. I told her Annie had a rash, and I was taking her to see a doctor. She got a weird smug smile on her face and told me there was nothing to worry about. When I asked what she was talking about, she said, without looking at Annie, that what she had was just chickenpox. I asked her how she could possibly know that, and she casually admitted one of her friend's grandkids had chickenpox a few weeks ago, so she asked them to wipe a blanket over the child's arms, legs, and face and bring it to the house. At this point, I couldn't believe what I was hearing, so I asked if the blanket was the gift Annie was sleeping on, and she said it was. I lost my shit. To be honest, I don't really remember what I said because I woke up most of the night 2 days checking on Annie. I just unleashed on Trish, asking what the fuck was wrong with her. My husband and father-in-law came to try and calm things down. Trish dug in her heels and said chickenpox was the best and most natural thing for Annie to build up her immunity. I already have a vaccination scheduled in place with my pediatrician, and she was booked in to get immunized for chickenpox at 18 months. We drove to see her doctor and confirmed she had it. She said I'll have to cut Annie's nails short, and might have to tape socks on her hands while she sleeps because kids are young and subject themselves to bleed and leave scars. On the drive back, my husband started making excuses for Trish that she was only doing what she thought was best. I couldn't believe he was defending her, and we fought most of the way home until I told him to stop talking to me. Annie's been crying like crazy. We were meant to stay till Wendy, but I couldn't. But I just finished packing up our stuff so we can leave first thing in the morning. I'm so angry I can't even think. What can I say to make her and my husband realize the enormity of what she's done wrong?
I do think I've seen this, and
Insane shit.
But also in today's anti-science climate, I mean, this completely tracks as something an old weird motherfucker would do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like, when it comes to, like, how people treat the anti-vax movement in particular, and how a lot of those people are about it, it's 100% something that's on track. The only thing in my mind that's, like, suspicious about it in particular is I don't know if chickenpox is a thing that you can just get overnight, or if it would, like, take a couple of days after you got in contact with something that had the virus before it actually, like, developed into an outbreak.
I should clarify, the timeline of the post gives about a week between the daughter being given the blanket,
blanket
and chicken pox.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that.
I also did not know that chicken pox can be spread just by like rubbing some shit on the pox themselves. But I guess that makes sense for how like blisters.
Virus. Is it a virus? I don't know. Bacteria, whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
some kind of disease.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things in which it's like that particular virus, I'm not necessarily sure how it functions in particular, because the fact that I got vaccinated for it early, so I never had to worry about it.
Yeah, I remember, I've heard the stories about, like, they used to do, like, chickenpox parties or some shit where, like, one kid would get chickenpox and, like, they just invite, like, all the neighborhood kids over so they could all just get it and then be immune to it after that.
Mm-hmm.
Just feels like an echo of that kind of thing. I don't remember if this was before the vaccine was a thing or not, but, like, no, this just tracks as something a weird old person would do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like, it is something that's, like, up there because the fact that it's, like, it's an old world ideology of actually getting the virus builds up your immune system more than getting what a vaccination does, which the answer is no, it fucking doesn't.
Was that an old wisdom? Was that an old wisdom, or was that just something that this strain... Like, I don't even know if anti-vaxxers are like, yeah, you should get chickenpox, that way you'll be cured of chickenpox.
I mean, anti-vaxxers during COVID were like, the best immunity you can get to COVID is by getting COVID.
Yeah.
So... And then they got COVID like 8 times and couldn't figure out why it kept happening, you know?
God, yeah.
It's because the fact that the virus kept mutating, that's why.
Yeah, I know that, but like they didn't fucking understand that was a thing.
Yeah, viruses are caused by imbalances of the, soul. So just, like, get your soul in order, man.
It's like how people don't understand, like, oh, I got the flu shot this year and I still got the flu. Well, yeah, you got a different fucking strain of the flu, I mean, most likely than what you got immunized against that year.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, the flu breaks out enough to where, like, it has an opportunity in order to mutate and evolve. I'm not necessarily sure if something like that can happen with chickenpox, or if something like that could happen with, like, for example, like, the measles, mumps, and rubella. Like, all of that stuff, because the fact that, like, it's a pretty solid strand as far as I'm aware, and with how we, like, have it, and that there's no continuous breakout that happens, because the fact that it's so well vaccinated against, that, like, it has an opportunity to evolve, because I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. All I know is that I had to get the shot once, and I don't have to go back and go get another MMR vaccine again.
All I know is that polio is making a comeback. We are making America great again.
Yeah. True. That's true. We do have RFK in the presidency. I think RFK is going to mandate the chicken...
President RFK. That's what's happening.
Sorry. RFK in the Department of Health seat.
He hasn't been confirmed yet. I mean, he's most likely
I'm just saying, once he is confirmed, we're gonna have mandatory chickenpox blankets for every child.
I have been hearing that like people like RFK is gonna like do all these shit to like the food like companies and stuff. It's like they're gonna stop make Coke stop using fucking like high fructose corn syrup. Well, okay, first off, if RFK bans aspartame, I will make if you try
I'm not
and take
sure.
away
Real quick, Kiwi.
If you try and take away Dr. Pepper Zero from me, I will you. I will to any government agents listening to this.
Oh my!
The Kiwi and Zoe show is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
No, it isn't.
You can't hear them, but they're all booing Kiwi right now. They're all booing Kiwi because there's a light showing on that says "boo." All of this is staged. We're just doing a sort of joke for the camera. Haha.
What's
going
on? What's happening?
If Coke Zero and Dr. Pepper Zero get banned, I cannot dictate the acts that I will commit. I cannot verbalize them.
You're not ready for Elon Musk's plan to ban podcasts.
I could sacrifice podcasts, but Coke Zero.
You're
Dr.
in
Pepper
one.
Zero, yes, I'm aware. But if I have to choose between podcasts and diet soda, I'm sorry. Diet soda is a bigger part of my life.
I'm so glad to know you value our time together so little, Kiwi.
That is not what this is. We can spend time together outside of a podcast, as we have done since high school.
Oh my god.
Are we ready to move on to the last post?
Well,
Yes.
I don't think we had a
on.
proper chance in order to really talk about the first post because God bless, there's so much there in order to unpack.
Oh, the first we did talk about the first post for a good fucking minute.
Yeah, true. But
Right.
I mean this one in particular. But I have more to say on it because fucking I think I do 100% believe this post because the fact that as somebody who follows the anti-vax trend, parentheses, has autism, on the spectrum.
Real quick,
about it.
clarifying phrasing. By following the anti-vax movement, you mean you are studying them from a distance and not an active participant in the movement.
Correct. I do not believe in it because I know it's bullshit.
It would have been funnier.
I do have to clarify that because
correcting me. Yeah. You know, sometimes I stumble over my words. It happens, but
I just don't want any of our audience members at home to think that this podcast has gone woke and you are our DEI anti-vaxxer.
Sure.
Hire.
Yeah, man. It's red pill based, whatever, the brain rot term that they want to use today. Cringe. Anyway, all of that 100% tracks. Especially the insane plan of just I'm gonna give my grandchild? Yeah.
Grandchild, yes.
Grandchild fucking chickenpox the old fashioned way. To make because the fact that obviously that helps build the immune system better, which it doesn't matter which version of the chickenpox that you get, because the way that vaccines work is that they give you a smaller, more manageable version of the virus, which makes your immune system recognize it and know how to fight it off when you get a real one. But whatever.
I will say a lot of the Reddit comments, I'm scrolling through them, a lot of them are yelling mainly at the husband in this circumstance for taking the grandma's side.
Yeah, that's come on, man.
It's giving your daughter, the daughter that you are raising, a disease that causes serious lifelong problems, especially if they scratch, on purpose, not by mistake.
Yeah, it's insane. Definitely,
it's a little freak behavior.
I don't know if I'd say a little freak behavior, but
what kind of freak are we talking about?
Not the one you're interested in. Down, boy. Down.
Speaking of freaks, Kiwi would not be interested in. Do we want to move on to post 3?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you'll see. You'll see.
Ominous
I'm ready to get my
foreshadowing.
freak on. I don't know if I won't be interested. Let's go. Let's hear it.
The mouse is so good at segues.
I'm so good at segues. This one is titled I, 27F, keep bumping into this guy, 48M. I kinda hate, and I'm starting to think he's seeking me out. How do I tell him to leave me alone? Post starts like this. Throw away for the usual reasons. Hi all. Got a weird one for you. Back in college, my friend started dating this guy. We'll call him Saul. Who had just this dog shit philosophy. Call him Saul. Yeah. I don't know if she meant to do a Better Call Saul joke. Who had this dog shit philosophy and annoyed me to no end. We got into it on the last day I spent on campus, and I thought I'd be the last to see of him. However, a couple years later, we ended up sitting next to each other on the same flight. Turns out he married that college friend and still hasn't fixed the dog shit personality. Then, a few months later, he confronts me in a random bookstore. I try and tell him to get bent, but he plays on my better nature, and we end up talking over coffee for a bit. He tells me that college friend was cheating on him, and I try and comfort him. Since then, it's been constant. He showed up at a diner, calls me all the time, keeps quote-unquote bumping into me at parks and museums or whenever I'm trying to get some alone time. I keep trying to let him down easy, but he won't let up. It came to a head when I mentioned offhandedly over the phone that I had broken up with somebody, and he insisted on coming over. He comforted me a little, I guess, but he kept wanting to move the conversation to the bedroom. I had to tell him to fuck off directly. He ended up kind of mopey afterwards and slipped out. Now I'm not sure what to do. I can't keep telling him to get bent, and after this incident, I'm scared he's going to do something dangerous next time he happens to bump into me. Should I look into getting a restraining order?
Is that the whole post?
That is the whole post. Like I said, I was doing in descending order of length.
Okay. First, if this is if this is actually a Reddit post, this is also incredibly fake. I feel like I hate this guy. I can't stand this guy. Anyway, we ended up getting coffee. I hate this guy. I can't stand this guy. Anyway, I'm telling him about my recent breakup. What's going on? What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Like, no, she's definitely like leading him on. Like I don't want to say leading him on because obviously she's not. But like I guess she's just trying to like be nice to him.
Personally, my solution when I don't like someone and I don't want them to interact with me is to stop interacting with them and like not encourage them to interact with me.
Well, clearly this guy isn't taking the hint, and like that's the difference between like, you know, a man saying, "Hey, can you fuck off, please?" and like a woman gently being like, "Hey, no," is the fact that like one of those messages will be received. The other one will be perceived as an invitation.
My thing though, it's not like, oh, I said no, I don't want to hang out with you and then walked away. It somehow goes to I ended up getting coffee with him. Yeah. And then I was divulging personal details about my life to this person that I don't want to know about.
Yeah, she said lit slip about the breaking up over the phone. I do kind of wish she had gone more into like how she let it slip, you know?
Yeah.
How did they end up in the coffee shop together?
A lot of questions raised by this post.
Quote unquote confronted me in a bookstore, and I tried to tell him to fuck off, but ended up getting coffee with him at a secondary location.
No, I mean, a lot of bookstores have like a coffee shop that's like built within it. So, like, it's not completely out of the question, the fact that it's just, like, conveniently, like, right there in the store.
I guess this whole thing just doesn't track to me. Just, the whole thing, it just does not track.
Yeah, it's definitely missing a lot of, like, very critical details that I find excruciatingly suspicious, considering the fact that, like, it jumps around a lot from various points, which, makes me kind of believe the fact that of, like, the 3 stories that went into such intricate detail that, like, this is definitely the one that stands out the most.
Yeah.
So are y'all already locking in your decision?
I'm locked into number 3. That's my choice. I mean, it's for me, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've seen the post of number 2. So it is between 1 and 3, but I genuinely think it's number 3 because number 1 really does seem like something that like a Redditor really wanted some fucking karma and went ham, spent like an entire day writing this.
So number 3 is When Harry Met Sally. The film When Harry Met Sally. I lost track of time for doing this, so I just scrambled and then wrote a protracted summary of When Harry Met Sally, but before when Harry admits he really does love Sally.
My thought when hearing this story was, I think Zoe did not have that much time and wrote this in a rush.
No, yeah. Okay, now that I've gotten that out of the way, I do want to circle back to post 1 because there is follow-up.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh great,
There's
okay,
more?
let's hear it.
Oh jeez.
Gaycation and Mother-in-Law with Chickenpox, both are real Reddit posts. The Gaycation one starts off... I found both of those on r/best of Redditor updates because the follow-up to the gaycation one is insane.
I need to hear it. I have to know.
Okay.
Oh my god, there's more.
Let's read out one bonus post for the night.
Bonus post.
So, when I posted, I contacted my husband to tell him he wouldn't be staying at home tonight, and a bag would be waiting for him. As you can imagine, we argued quite badly. Won't get into specifics, but I'm 100% on board for the fact that at minimum he's bi. Okay. Point of note for the woman in this story.
The woman.
She is going really hard on this guy being bisexual.
I still don't think she's real, or he's real, or anyone involved in this.
No,
real,
I mean, probably not. Okay.
They may not be real people, but this is a real Reddit post.
This is a real Reddit post. Bisexuality.
There's only one way to know for sure. We gotta have them on the show.
Here's where the update gets spicy. Okay. A lot of you asked him if it would be acceptable if the roles were reversed. And I did say, would it be acceptable if I went and slept with other guys during that week? Like fucking clockwork, he was very angry and offended, saying it's completely different because a gaycation means nothing, and what happens at the gaycation stays at the gaycation, so it wouldn't count. Whereas I'd be, quote, straight up cheating. I told him around, say no, but you see what happens in Manchester stays in Manchester. And I think it got through to him. He went all quiet and then started crying, admitting that he thought of me sleeping with another man destroyed his heart, but relationships need sacrifices, so he agreed, while in tears, that while he goes on the gaycation, I'll get 1 week in Manchester to do whatever I want.
What?
He doesn't want me to, but thinks that's, quote, fair in a twisted way. I told him to get out of my house. Thankfully, he left without a fight. I know it's incredibly petty, but I also drained the joint bank account, so he couldn't use it against me. About an hour later, I got rang up by my mother-in-law, his mom, who just screamed and screamed and screamed about cheating whore, how I was terrible, what about the kids, etc. When I finally got my composure back, I just told her to ask your son about the gaycation. Obviously, at first, she got angry, but I said, no, just ask him about the gaycation. He'll explain everything. She called me a fucking joke and hung up. Later on in the evening, I got another phone call from her in tears. She was very apologetic, and I told her she doesn't need to be the one to apologize. She was so upset, she put the father-in-law on the phone, who, while he sounded calm, I could just tell was on the warpath. Again, very apologetic. Said he overheard the phrase, asked my husband, and my husband initially said, no, it's nothing, before explaining how it's a modern thing men do, and gave them a whole spiel about what happens on the gaycation. Men cannot resist the gaycation. Men must surrender to the gaycation.
We gotta get Kiwi on this cruise, man.
Okay, I'm jumping ahead to the part about the brother-in-law.
Okay.
Because I told them to be there for their daughter because it sounds like the brother-in-law is involved. And father-in-law said he had to go because he was just so angry. Get a text from my husband about a call, which was all weird and rambly, saying that how I'd absolutely abused the gaycation to destroy his marriage and destroy his life. And again insinuated I and his parents were homophobic for doing such a thing. Told him we'll talk when he grows up, and blocked his number. I took a day off work, changed locks, so I haven't met with his sister-in-law. We're going to maybe try tomorrow, but we did talk over the phone, and I eavesdropped on the conversation with her husband, where she put her phone on speaker and I was on mute. Her husband got home earlier and just said to him, can you please explain what a gaycation is? She told me afterwards she was praying he'd look confused and just be like, what? Or anything like that. Instead, he just sat her down and explained how a gaycation is a new thing where straight men go to gay hotspots to participate in gay sex acts, but it doesn't count because there's no investment. Because what happens to the gaycation stays on the gaycation. He said it's like writing down angry thoughts and putting them in a drawer. You never have to see them again.
Oh my god.
I seriously think they must be speaking to a dominatrix or something, because neither of them are into this and actually just made it up on their own. I don't want to go into what was discussed for her sake, but it did become apparent that my brother-in-law is into sissy hypno-porn.
What?
Real quick, pause here. Are either of you members of the call familiar with the concept of sissy hypno-porn?
I know of hypno-porn. I don't know about sissy hypno-porn specifically. That is a flavor I am unfamiliar with.
I'm in the same boat as Ryu.
Okay. So sissy hypnoporn, the conceit is you watch it as a straight man, and it's supposed to hypnotize you into being a feminized gay boy.
Uh-huh.
Ah, I see.
Just as a fun little aside there. There was an utterly surreal moment where my sister-in-law just sat there trying to wrap her head around that while also, in floods of tears, explains to me so genuinely, so matter-of-factly, that for most men the gaycation is either a one-time annual thing, but some men go on the gaycation for years, and others simply never return. Because, you see, they use hypnosis and mind-controlled to be totally feminized into a state of permanent pseudo-gayness.
Oh my god!
So,
They're not even trying.
so let me be clear
anymore.
what happened with this post, now that we have a full timeline established. The brother-in-law was into sissy hypno as a kink thing, except he didn't realize it was kink and all just for pretend, for fun, for play, and thought it was just like a normal thing that everybody knew and understand and does.
Surely.
So he got his brother-in-law, the poster's husband, in on the sex act. They go to Ibiza together is the plan.
On this
So yeah,
gaycation.
that's the full extent of the gaycation
So therefore they could
post.
be hypnotized into being two gay men, but it doesn't count because it's on a vacation.
That's the beauty of the gaycation.
I have to say, by the end, OP was not trying anymore. Like, not even trying
absolutely
to make
100%
it
fictional by the end.
Oh my god.
This is a Family Guy plot. This is 100% a Family Guy plot. This is something that Peter and Joe would do. This is straight up a Peter and Joe episode of Family Guy.
Who is the brother-in-law between Peter Griffin or Joe?
Joe is the brother-in-law. Peter's gonna be the main character. Lois is OP.
Of course. I assume in the side plot, Stewie is being infected with chicken pox by Peter Griffin Sr.
I actually rescind my previous statement. This is an episode between Peter Griffin and Lois's dad.
Ooh.
I don't remember his name,
I know who you're talking about.
but yeah, that character. This is an episode of Family Guy between them. He is the brother-in-law in this situation.
That's awesome.
You know, like, here's the thing about it, is the fact that, like, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, because I believe the fact that we live in an insane, wacky world, that I genuinely believe the fact that there was somebody who was so normalized to sissy hypno porn to the point where they were just like, yeah, I could go on a gay vacation as a straight
And that's just
man
like a
and
normal
have it
thing.
not-
Everybody does everybody does the gay vacation.
Right. Like, you know, it's like the standard thing that everybody has on their bucket list. They do this, and then they bring somebody along for fun and all that stuff, and then they come back and they return to their normal lives and all that stuff. The part in particular that loses me is the fact that it's just like, yeah, some people have sacrificed their entire livelihood to the gaycation.
Let me
and
be
they
clear.
never
Let me be
return
clear.
from the
As
island.
a-
I'm just like, what do you mean?
As a trans girl who has gotten into it, who has explored kink spaces, the concept of a gaycation is grounded in actual sissy hypno porn. This is absolutely 100% the kind of concept somebody would do for this kind of thing.
Oh my god.
Wait, are you saying this is like a real thing in that one specific?
I am saying it is. I'm not saying for certain it is. I am saying I am familiar enough with the subject to know that it is not out of the realm of possibility that the gaycation is an actual thing that has been proposed by a a dom doing this kind of routine.
Okay. I will say, Ryu, what you were saying earlier about you'll give them the benefit of the doubt that someone could just, like, genuinely think this is a normal thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case in the sense that the OP would not notice there is something wrong with her husband well before it gets to this point.
Yeah.
This I don't think this is something that would be a 0 to 100 thing in the sense that it is being presented as.
Here's the thing. I think it's possible that it was not a 0 to 100 thing for the brother-in-law, but the brother-in-law just told the husband that it's a normal thing and didn't elaborate on all of the sissy hypno stuff. Because the husband makes no mention of that.
But again, if the husband is just a completely normal person, you aren't just going to take that at face value and hear this and be like, "Oh, totally normal. I'm going to, like, tell my wife about it because
You said you were unopposed to doing the gaycation. I'll have you know.
I never said I was opposed to it, but at the same time, I don't think that someone would tell their wife about it and not recognize that they are going to have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm single, okay? I don't have to justify anything to anyone. If I was married with a wife and wanted to do that kind of thing, I think I would recognize that if I told her about that, there would have to be more of a dialogue surrounding that than, hey, I'm doing this next week, by the way.
Can I just say, Kiwi, you being unopposed to the idea of doing a gaycation is maybe your most cancelable thing you have said in the podcast so far.
Awesome.
I literally just talked about woke helicopters crashing into DEI airplanes. What are you talking about? How is that cancelable?
Okay. But woke airplanes, that's a gag. I don't know if you're doing a gag when you say you do a gaycation.
How is that canceled? I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't know what's going on here.
I said so far. I think there's plenty of room for you to say something worse.
Can I go off on a complete utter tangent?
Of course.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
So over the past, like, week and a half to, like, 2 weeks, there have been, like, so many, like, leftist infighting events on Twitter that I'm genuinely starting to, like, believe that idea that, like, the fucking CIA or whoever is, like, starting these fights to, like, weaken, like, leftist unity or something. And I don't think it's necessary. I don't think leftists are ever going to do anything, like, worthwhile. But, like, it's genuinely, there cannot be
as long as the
much...
CIA keeps causing leftist infighting.
Well, they cannot be infighting about these things.
What's the specific things that makes you think this is CIA bullshit?
There are 3 specific things, and I texted 2 of them to a friend recently.
Okay.
And I did bring this up in our group chat, but the smell PhD lady getting canceled by, like, progressive leftists for saying that calling all Indian people smelly is racist. There was
So what was the logic there? If you don't mind filling me in.
There was a tweet from a black woman that said, it was like a quote tweet of, like, an Indian girl tweeting something. I don't know what it was, but it was a quote tweet of an Indian girl, and the black person responded something like, "Oh, all of you smell bad," or something like that. Sure. And then smell PhD lady comes in and says, "Hey, it's racist to say that all Indian people smell bad."
I mean, yeah.
But then Twitter leftists came in and said, "You can't call a black woman racist."
Oh my god.
And, like, canceled her, and, like, she ended up posting an apology and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, when you say she was canceled for saying you can't say all Indian women are racist, you did leave out the important bit of context of whom she was talking, but also you are correct, that is an incredibly stupid and petulant reason to cancel a woman.
That's why I expounded on the context, but, like, that is still effectively what happened.
Yes,
Okay.
100% correct. You're
So
right. You are right.
So that happened, and then that led to a whole bunch of infighting because the fact that, you know, somebody said some racist bullshit, somebody else said, hey, that's racist, and then they were like, hey, you can't correct that person, that's being racist.
That's awesome.
Yes.
What was the second point?
I'm pretty sure I literally saw this as like a bit on like Community.
I'm trying to remember what the fucking second one was, and I'm trying to find it in my phone, and I can't. But I remember the third one.
Well, what was the third one?
The third one was there was literally just a post, and it was a picture of a guy doing like a jump, like a heel tap jump, like he's skipping excitedly.
Okay.
And the caption was, "My roommate's excited because his girlfriend just got an IUD."
What is an IUD?
Oh, you don't know what? Okay. An IUD is an intrauterine device, which is essentially a form of birth control that is inserted into the birth canal of someone
The
who
pussy.
can give birth. Yes. And it's birth control. You don't have to take a pill. It stops you from getting
You could have
pregnant.
just said it's birth control.
Yeah, but like
I mean, yes, but
there
there's
is
a lot of
context
different types of...
surrounding that.
Yeah.
And there was kind of a division in that, like, some people were like, it's misogynistic for him to be excited that his girlfriend got an IUD, and then the other half of the people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? He just wants to fuck his girlfriend raw, like...
Yeah.
And his girlfriend...
Folks, we're a sex-positive podcast.
I mean, the real question is, was getting an IUD her choice or
That's the
his
thing.
choice?
That's the thing. There's no context to it, but people immediately began assuming that, like, people were talking about, oh, it's misogynistic to pressure a woman into getting this, and it's like, no one ever
yeah,
said
it
that-
is.
It is,
but,
yes.
But
no
that,
one ever
do we
said
know
that
if that's
was
what
happening.
happened?
People just
Okay.
made this up in their heads.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to
God.
the greatest quote in Disco Elysium, which is, "Are women bourgeoisie?" It all comes back to that.
But it's just like, people just automatically assumed he was evil for, like, being excited. He doesn't have
Being
use a
excited
condom
to
or
fuck his
something.
girlfriend? I mean,
Yes.
who cares? Dude's wrong.
Well, yeah, no, that's my thing too, but it's like, I don't know, there is a certain type of leftist that just believes that heterosexual sex is inherently misogynistic. And it's
That
like,
I do think a lot of, like, queer leftists in particular need to recognize that sometimes dudes do rock, and dudes rock does need to be a part of your politics to some extent.
but genuinely, I cannot fathom what goes through some of these people's minds to reach these conclusions that they come up with. You know?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, the CIA has to be involved in this.
Which side on the pussy debate do you think is CIA? Do you think it's
I think the CIA is the ones that are trying to cancel the dude for being excited. Like, they're trying to, like, start an argument. They're trying to start an argument where there is none to be had. Because I feel like there are some people who are, like, so invested in being a progressive and, like, anti-misogynist, anti-racist or whatever, that they will just kind of go with whatever they feel is the wokest ideology without actually thinking about any of the social ramifications of what they're saying.
So, if I may ask, why is the CIA so bored and so has nothing to do to the point where they've just decided to start posting leftist bait on Twitter?
McCarthyism.
Cool.
The idea that one day the left will rise and start a fucking communist revolution or something, and that we have to constantly...
I mean, that is true. That is true. Every day I'm starting
No.
a cat girl nation on Minecraft.
What?
No leftist revolution in America will ever go beyond, like, 15 people. I don't think leftists have the capacity to organize beyond that.
That's a bit of a black pill take, Kiwi.
I say this as someone who is completely progressive. I don't think we got.
I
it in
do
us.
recognize that. I just also recognize that you are a black pill progressive, and that's unfortunate.
Just the current state of things. It's just it's all fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the fact that, like, things are excruciatingly disorganized right now, and it's insane, because of, like, you know, hey, there's noise that's happening, but, like, to sit down and say the fact that, like, it's gonna be really difficult for us to stand united and fight back against the common enemy, I don't believe in that. I have faith.
I think I had some faith until the 2024 election.
I mean, hey, we got 4 years to tough through this. We gotta find some faith somewhere in there. And
I mean,
true.
I'm hoping this is a Herbert Hoover to FDR moment. But I mean, we'll find out, I guess.
Well, yeah. It depends on how bad those tariffs end up being.
Well, it's actually funny because Herbert Hoover actually did do the whole Mexican repatriation thing where he actually, like, he also, like, did the thing with the Great Depression of, oh, it's the Mexicans' fault. Like, Mexican immigrants are the reason that we're having so many economic problems. And he deported a bunch of them. And, like, very many of the ones he deported were American citizens who were birthright citizens.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't remember that. Well, okay, people don't remember that because this happened in the 1930s, but, like, a lot of people don't know that ever happened. And it's
a lot of
literally-
people were focused on a couple of other things that were happening during that time period.
But I'm saying this in that 99.999% of people who are alive right now were not alive during this. But
yeah,
like, people don't know that happened because we don't talk about Herbert Hoover in fucking history class. We talk about the Great Depression. Hoover is, like, never fucking talked about.
Not in explicit detail.
Right.
Not in any more detail than necessary to explain what a Hoover town is.
A Hooverville, yeah. But, like, I don't think people know that happened, and that is, like, almost exactly one-to-one what we're seeing now. It's like Trump is trying to take away birthright citizenship so he can deport American citizens.
Who's the modern FDR, do you think? Are we gonna have a full rewrite with AOC and the Green New Deal over the even three letters in the name?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. I really could not tell you.
And folks, I can tell you when the podcast is gonna end. It's right now. Good night. Always brush your teeth and never squeeze a lemon.
Why not?
What an outro.
Why should
You know me. I just say words for the outro.